They win and they ran an extra lap just for the fun of it. Their ceremonial victory lap.
Okay, that is fairly bizarre.
This is me. You're probably wondering how I got here. But first, we need to take a step back. This is me now. Hello. My name is Braden Himley, and I'm going into my senior year at Ponderosa High School, where I run long distance for them in cross country and track and field. I've been running since I was in 6th grade. There's probably a picture of me in 6th grade up on the screen. But my freshman year is when I really started to take things seriously and strive for actual good goals. But this past season, my junior season, was a stunning one, and I was actually invited, I signed up to compete at the Nike Outdoor Nationals meet, which has people from all over the nation competing there. If you don't know, this is a track. Here's a picture of my high school track, and here is the Nike Outdoor Nationals track. It is the size of a football stadium. People from all over the nation go here to watch people like me run around in circles. That's crazy. You're watching me, well, it's actually an oval. Who cares? You're watching me run around in ovals. Please do something more useful. It's like a cat, like laser pointer. Please do something more useful than that. Anyway, the race that I was doing was the 4x1 mile. So, you've probably heard of the 4x1 and the 4x4. Those are all the sprinty ones. My race is the 4x mile, which each person runs 4 ovals, which is a mile. And then, just like the 4x1 and the 4x4, hands off the baton to the next person. But the baton has to be given in the exchange zone. Ugh. I thought that looked cool. Or funny. Or cool and funny. Anyway, the scary thing about the exchange zone, ow, is that if you don't pass the baton in the exchange zone, you will be disqualified. Now, once you've done this 3 or 4 times, it's actually pretty easy, and it's not as scary as the exchange zone, because it's an X of change, is first thought to be. Because once you do it 3 or 4 times, it's pretty natural. You make sure your foot is behind the line and you are in the exchange zone. Oh. The exchange, so that you're not going to get disqualified. And you put your hand out in the distance races as your guy is running towards you, and you look at him, and he's running towards you, and you start to run a little bit, and then eventually you're handed the device. I don't know why I called it a device. It's not a device. It's basically a pipe. You're handed the baton. Now, I have the baton, and I'm going to do my part of the race. Fairly simple. But remember what I told you. Each person runs 4 laps. That means on their 4th lap, they give me the baton, and then I run. Interesting thing. The race I was in was so professional, we were in a different staging area, so we were not on the track. So when I got out to the track, we had no idea what lap they were on. So I go out and I'm waiting, and I think it's their last lap, because the officials have brought us all the way into lane 1. Now, there's multiple lanes on the track, as you saw earlier. All of these lanes cannot be taken up for somebody who's not done with their race yet. You might be able to figure out where this is going. So, normally what happens is if they're not done with their race, we stay in lane 3 or further out, because we don't want to be in their way. But for some reason, the officials decided to bring us out all the way into lane 1. At this point, though, we don't know what lap they're on, so we think they're finishing their race. So here I am. I'm not in lane 1 because we're not winning, because this is the national meet. We're not winning, so I'm actually in lane 3. But I'm expecting to get my baton. Now, everybody, they do the handoff. I'm thinking, great, this is fine. Okay, we're good. And now, once the people in the front who are in lane 1 scoot by, because they're running now, that means we get to scoot up into lane 1. Because why would you have your guy run all the way out here and be further away when they can just keep going straight? So, we move up into lane 1, and we get ready, except I'm still not in lane 1. I'm a little further out. And I'm waiting, and I see the guy who's going to give it to me. And I'm waiting, and he's getting closer, and he's not running towards me. He's not running towards me. I'm waiting, and he's coming up. And I'm waiting, but he's not coming towards me. So then eventually he gets to about 5 feet away from me, and I'm freaking out. And then he runs by me. So then I start running after him, but I can't leave the exchange zone, because then I would be disqualified. So I think, oh my gosh, he just totally missed me. But he saw me, so I am totally confused, because he knew I was there, and I knew he was there. But he is gone. He is long gone. And so I'm like, well, now we're just screwed. And then I hear somebody in the audience, out of the, I don't know how many seats, the 10,000 seats that are there, say, that was their third lap. My mind exploded. I'm thinking, what do you mean that was their third lap? Because they didn't do their fourth lap. And somebody, one of the other competitors, says, they all just got DQ'd. There were only 5 other teams with me, basically, that did it right. We started celebrating like never before. We started celebrating like world peace had just been created, like hunger just stopped, world hunger just ended. We were partying like it's 1999 and we're Prince. The amount of shock that went through my body when my guy ran by me, I ran after him, got told the other teams were most likely DQ'd, and that we were still in the race, all in a span of about 15 seconds, completely made me lose my mind. So I'm at the line, and I'm jumping up and down because I am super excited. And now I'm like, okay, this is now a 6-person race because the other teams are DQ'd. So now I'm like, okay, this is my guy's last leg, the last lap. And so then I get the baton, and now it's my turn. But I'm thinking, all of the other teams, their last leg is going to have to run 5 laps to make up for the other person who only did 3. So I'm like, if they're not DQ'd, I might still be able to catch them if I only do 4 laps because they're on their 5th lap and they might be walking. So I go fast, and I'm on pace for my fastest mile ever. But then I think, wait a second. They're going to think if I catch up that I'm one of the teams that messed up and has to do 5 laps. So now I start saving energy. And so I'm saving energy, and I come through my 3rd lap, and I'm like, this is it. If he tells me 1 to go, I'm dropping the fastest lap any human has ever done, ever. Not true, but as fast as I could go. Or if he tells me 2, I'm just going to run it like there's 2 laps left. And so I'm coming through, and I'm like, please just tell me 1 lap. And I'm prepared, and he's looking at me and says, 2, you have 2 to go. And I said, no, mister. I said in the race, I said, no, there's 1. I have 1 left. And he goes, no, you're doing 2. So then I said, okay, I'm doing 2. And I ran, and I ran, and I kept on running. And then I was running, and I was done with my 4th lap, and he told me I still had one to go, after most of the teams are already done, because they've done their 16 laps, or have done like 15 laps because they miscounted and only did 4 when their other guy did 3. It's confusing. Anyway, the important thing is they're all done. I'm one of the last people on the track, and I keep going, and then I see some of the teams that were in first. And now I'm thinking, how am I on my 5th lap? And they're not done. They were on their 6th lap. They did 6 laps. They did the same number of laps that our team did, which was 1 more than there should have been. So they were on their 6th lap. That's 150% of the race. And they just ran an all-out 4-lap race. And now they're running 2 more. So they're all dead, and there's people walking, and they're all like this. And so I'm like, I'm still strong, so I'm just flying on by them. And I'm like, wow, I must be one of the top teams. And then I come through, and literally everybody is done, except 2 people behind me. I don't know. This is the national meet, people. I've never seen anything like this. You might expect something like this out of a local meet, out of a small meet. This is the nationwide meet. I was bamboozled. I finished the race, and my teammates came up to me and said, "Did you do 5 laps?" And I said, "Yes, I did 5 laps." And they said, "Why?" And I said, "Because the dude made me." And then that dude heard me, who made me do the laps, and is like, "It's not my fault. The lap counter thing said that you had 1 to go." No, it did not. If you go back, if you look at the race, well, I don't think it did. I'm pretty sure it didn't. But I don't know. I finished the race, and that's why I was so confused. Anyway, I finished the race. We had no idea what was going to happen. Every team is going through the same emotion roller coaster. They're thinking, what's going on? Are our results accurate? We don't know what's going on. Answer to question 1. 2, the results are not going to be accurate. Everybody is upset. I met some of the teams who did the same thing as me. They were as confused as I was. Every team's in the same boat. And there was this little celebration camera thing, like a Ring doorbell. And I met with some of the teams who were in the same boat as us, who we did everything right and got forced to do an extra lap for no reason at all, which made us slower. And there was a Ring, like, doorbell. And we all just had the same idea. I said, we're going to ring it, and this is what we're going to do. And this is what we did. And we're like, ding dong or whatever. It's a doorbell. Anyway, ding dong. And then we all go, 5 laps! 5 laps! We did 5 laps! In case if anybody saw it somehow and posted it anywhere. And everybody's upset, and we want to talk to a race official, but there's another race going on right now. And so they just said, okay, go into, like, the finish area. And so we went in the finish area, and they said, you are not allowed to leave the finish area until we figure everything out. I'm like, you're not going to figure everything out. It's going to be days before you figure it all out. So everybody's standing there. It's, first of all, outside it was like 56 degrees or something and raining. Inside, it was probably 75 degrees, and there's 200 people in there who have just run and are all panting. And so it is really hot in there. And we're not allowed to leave. And we're there for 20 minutes. And all of the parents are going, where are my children? Why are they not here? Why are they underground in this separate staging area? Where are they? And then finally, everybody just starts not giving a whatever anymore and decide to leave. So we all leave, and we think, what just happened? This was a crazy mistake. I don't know whose fault it was, but it was somebody's fault. I know the official guy who was telling me how many laps there are was just straight up wrong, first of all, because I know how to count, and my other guy knew how to count. Yeah, so I did 1 more lap than I was supposed to do. It was the craziest race. You would not expect this from the national race. This is the national race. And after we're all kind of upset because, hey, we spent so much money to get here. The hotels were basically Disneyland expensive, maybe more. And then you have to, it's $33 for spectators to enter. So if you have 2 parents, $66 per day. We were only there like the one day though, so that was nice. But still, this was like, you didn't even get a good time, so it's basically a waste of time and energy. However, the next day they emailed and said, if you want to get into another race, but we were too late for that and too tired for that, you can do that, but we didn't, which was good. Like, thank you for that. Also, they said you get a free medal if you put in your address, but it will take up to 4 months. So I'm expecting a medal in the next 4 months sometime, which is cool because we were not expected to get a medal at all because this is the national meet. So that's a crazy one. And then they gave us a refund for the entry itself, which was like $65 or something, which was nice, but the hotels and travel are way more than that. But they were trying to do what was right, which they couldn't really do much. But anyway, that's what happened. And then afterwards, we became celebrities. Like, we went back the next day, and everybody was talking about it. First of all, this race isn't posted anywhere, because I think Nike is being like, hey, we don't want to show our mess up. And the places that recorded it are like, well, if we post it, then they might come after us for being like, hey, recorded our mess up. So it's not posted anywhere. They have the faster heat posted, but not our heat or section because they don't want to get in trouble or something. But I have it downloaded because I raced it, and so they let me download it. But anyway, we got to go there the next day, and we were celebrities because everybody would be like, oh yeah, do you like, they asked me if I wanted to download the race, and I was like, yeah, we should probably download the race to my teammates. And they said, oh wow, you guys won, like that's impressive, because they thought, why else would you want to download it? And we said, no, we were in the crazy 4x1 mile race. And they instantly went, oh my god, you were in that, what happened? So we were like the celebrities. And actually on the second heat on YouTube, that's the faster one that's actually posted, all of the comments, there's only like 3 comments last time I checked, but they're all about the heat before this was just a mess, which, to be fair, it was. Nobody knew what was going on. That's the craziest race I've ever been in. This was probably a waste of time, but craziness. You would not expect this to happen in the national meet. So that's how I got here. So I'm going to go over what happened in the race, if you want to know. If you want to just watch the race, I think I'm going to try to post that if I don't get, like, banned by Nike or something. So I'm going to go over this. If you don't want to watch it, have a good day. Like, subscribe, share, comment, do something that's not watching people run in ovals all day like we do. And yeah, so what's happening right now is these people think that there's 1 1/4 or 1.5 laps to go, which there is. So they're not going as fast as they possibly can go because they're saving it for their last lap.
Correct in terms of what.
And so they're running, and right here they see the guys lined up in lane 1, and they start sprinting, and they're like, what? Wait, that doesn't make sense. And you'll see this guy, he's like, what happened? He'll put up a 3, and this guy puts up a 3. Like, that was the 3rd lap. All these people are going, what's going on? I swear that was my 3rd lap. And so all these people, we're just thinking, like, I'm going to get the baton. Because we're looking down this way. We don't see these people's reactions. So my guy's behind this white guy, and I'm jumping. This is me in the black. I'm jumping. I'm like, come over here. And he's not coming over here. And then he runs by, and then I'm like, I got to go get it. And then I just stop, run into that guy. And now everybody's confused.
Fallen out of the top 3.
And then we all realize, like, oh my gosh, wait, we're in this. So we're all excited and jumping around. So these guys think they're doing 4 laps, but they have to do 5 because of the official messed everybody up. So they run, and they're on their last lap now. Oh wait. Now, he said there's 2 laps to go, but I don't think any of these people heard, because look at the sign. The sign says 1. So he's showing 3. He's showing 3 laps to go, but they only need to do 2, and then the lap counter says 1. So that's been messed up. And so now they're all sprinting when the announcers think there's 2 laps left.
Left behind.
And so now they're all sprinting to the finish, and we're going to make it to the finish. And huge sprint at the end, and this guy's saying, oh, you have a lap, and this lap counter still says 1. So they all stop, and then suddenly the announcers think they're done, but this guy is behind a lap.
Oh my goodness, he lost track of the laps. So did some of the other runners.
So he's been lapped, and then got unlapped.
And now everyone's kind of jogging. Oh, what is going on?
So now they're jogging another lap. The announcers are confused.
Jogging. I think the Menlo runner may be out of gas. The senior to be.
And so they're coming through their final lap again.
Now we have another
And he's like,
surge.
I'm done. But this guy still has a lap to do because he got lapped. So this guy who's messing everything up tells this guy to do another lap. But some of the other teams, like the Pink, think, oh, I have to do another lap. So they're on their 6th lap now.
He thinks he's fit. That's from a team that's behind. Before Sunset Distance.
And so this guy just messed everything up. But I don't know whose fault it is. It might have been this guy in the white because he brought us out early. I don't know. And then the number sign was wrong, like they keep talking about. They say, oh, just look at the sign, but it's wrong. So this is me here after I've done my 5th lap. So this is our 17th lap, which only like a handful of teams have done. Like the team behind me has done 17 when you're supposed to do 16. So I'm going, what's going on? My teammates are right here in the black.
I don't think they know they
And I'm like, what's going on? They come up to me, and this guy puts up a 5. He's like, did you do 5 laps? I go, yeah. I'm like, because this guy in the red hat told me to do 5 laps. And the guy in the red hat's like, it's not my fault. The thing he said the different number of laps, which was not true.
We're being told the officials did miscount, and we heard no bells.
And that was where they finally figured it out. They said the officials miscounted. And we're all confused, like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened. So I'm talking to these guys, like, what happened to you guys? And then I'm like, what's going on? And so I'm like, what do we do? I walk over here, and I end up, like, photobombing these guys. Because I'm like, I'm confused. What happened? Every team is so confused. And these were not the official results. This team did not win. We got 6th, but you saw I was like the second to last one on the track. So that's how that went. Hopefully I'll put them like full race up if it lets me. If not, have a good day. See you sometime, maybe. Like, subscribe, share, comment, do something other than watching people run in ovals. And have yourselves a good day. Bye.